So I'm just heading home from Regent Street, where I've been on a bit of a shopping spree. That's right, a new watch is entering the collection. It is in this bag, and yes, it is absolutely fair to ask, why is that bag so big? Well, a special watch needs a special presentation case, and if I remove this outer slip, we'll see the make and model that we're looking at here today. There we go, it is the Omega Speedmaster. Now, I actually have a Speedmaster on my wrist today. I have this watch, which is the first Omega in space. That's the specific model that I bought towards the tail end of 2023. But here's the thing, this was not the watch that I wanted to buy. The watch I wanted is this model, but this model is not readily available in stores. Omega make very few pieces per year, and you have to go on a wait list. So I figured, okay, I'll buy this and I'll wear this in the meantime, and as soon as this becomes available, I'm going to buy this watch, and this is going to go on eBay. So let me take it off the wrist as I prepare to open this very, very fancy box. And if I do open the outside, we'll see on the inside we have an embossed metal Speedmaster logo, Omega Speedmaster legendary moon watch. Omega don't mention it much in their marketing materials, but did you know that this was the watch that was worn by the astronauts who went to the moon in 1969? No, seriously, Omega has a very strong connection with NASA, and I understand why you want to make a big deal about it. It's super cool, right? Before we open this special crate, let's look at what else is inside the box. There is an abundance of paperwork to get through. We have here, in this leather slip, the warranty card, international 5-year warranty with all new Omega watches, which is pretty industry standard for a Swiss luxury watch. What else do we have? Operating instructions. Look at the thickness of this. Look at this. When did you last see an operating manual this big for anything? And this is for a simple watch. To be fair, it's in multiple languages and covers multiple models, so it refers you to the specific page. But guess what? I know how to operate a watch. I do not need this. Okay, we have a booklet here, Omega Speedmaster Calibre 321. So that is the model we're dealing with here today. It's the Calibre 321 Speedmaster. And this talks about this legendary movement, this mechanical wonder that makes this watch so special. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Oh, here we go. Legendary moon watch. I told you, they love to boast about the fact they went to the moon, and there's lots of pictures of people in space wearing Omegas. And there's Buzz Aldrin, for example, wearing the watch on the moon mission. And of course, the Speedmaster was worn by the astronauts on the Apollo 13 mission, and the chronograph function came in very useful because they had no computers on board that. You might have seen the Ron Howard movie. And last but by no means least, we have a booklet which with instructions which don't look particularly clear to me on how to change the strap, how to remove the bracelet and put straps on. Again, I know how to do that. I don't need a manual, but nice that they include it. Right, let's move this outer box out of the way. Oh, and bring back the flight case. That's what I think it's meant to be. The flight case containing the actual watch. Okay, are you ready for the reveal? Let's undo the special catches. I have to say, I love all this. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. You know that once you've opened it, once you've taken out the watch, all this stuff is going into a storage unit. But I love the fact that they present this because this is a very special watch, and there it is. So yes, this is the Speedmaster Calibre 321, otherwise known as the Ed White. And the reason for that is this watch, I think it was first came out in 2020, about 5 years ago. This is a modern recreation of the third generation of Speedmaster, the 105003. And this model, which predates the professional, predates the NASA-approved so-called moon watch, this model was worn by astronaut Ed White, who was the first American to actually walk in space, which happened on the Gemini 4 mission in 1965. So this is a very, very faithful recreation. More so than the first Omega in space, which is meant to be a recreation of the second generation Speedmaster. They made some alterations to this. This is pretty spot on from what you could buy in the early 1960s. So vintage inspired, but with some mod cons, and crucially, and this is the real selling point of this watch, the original movement. So if I take it off the cushion, and I had the bracelet resized at the Omega boutique, so there aren't that many stickers left to take off. It's just that one on the clasp and the case back sticker. And the case back, which is a display case back, showcases this incredible, incredible piece of engineering, the Omega 321 movement. And this was the movement, this was the mechanism that actually powered the watch that went to the moon in 1969 and powered the watch that Ed White wore on that Gemini mission in 1965. And this is absolutely a watch nerd's watch. You can get a Speedmaster significantly cheaper than this model, but if you love history, if you love engineering, if you admire the craftsmanship of watchmaking, I do think this watch is pretty special. Let's do a quick spec check, shall we? So it's smaller than the professional model. The current so-called Moonwatch is 42mm. This is 39.7. And for someone with puny wrists like me, it wears a lot better, I think, than a 42mm chronograph. 13.7mm thick chronographs tend to be a bit thicker. 48mm lug to lug, so sits very nicely on most wrists. Has a slightly annoying lug width of 19mm. Omega do like to be a little bit obtuse with their lug width. But the good news is this is also 19mm lug width, and it's on a 20mm nylon strap at the moment. And I've got various NATO straps, I've got various leather straps, which are all 20mm, which sit very comfortably on the watch. So they only get squeezed a little bit, so there'll be no problem there. It obviously comes on this nice bracelet, which I've had resized. Let me just put it on the wrist for a moment. Again, a recreation of a 1960s flat link bracelet. And obviously, I think it looks pretty awesome on the bracelet. But you know me, I like to change straps. I don't often wear my watches on bracelets, so this absolutely will be coming off the bracelet at some point and being worn on a variety of different straps. But for now, it can be on the bracelet. It's water resistant to 50 meters, but to be honest with you, you shouldn't ever take this in water. You shouldn't go swimming in this watch. And as I said, powered by the Omega 321 Calibre movement, manual wind. So, oh yeah. Oh, that's so smooth. And has 55 hours of power reserve. So once I've fully wound it, it'll keep going for a couple of days and more. Before I talk a little bit more about the watch, I'm going to put it to one side safely. Let's look at what else is in the box. But I'm sure you've seen this. We have a medallion. Look at that. Speedmaster, the hippocampus, which comes in the presentation box. And we've got two more compartments to explore. What have we got in here? We have a loop. You know the eye that jewelers look through? So again, if you want to actually look at the movement close up, you can use that. And in this section here, okay, so we've got some, they give you some extra straps. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So those are the extra links. I had 5 links removed from the bracelet to fit my skinny wrist. Get some extra spring bars, get a spring bar removal tool. I actually have a bracelet removal tool, which I will use if I want to take the bracelet off. You have to be very careful not to scratch the lugs or scratch the back of the watch when you're doing straps, changing straps rather. Let's have a look at what straps you get. So, anyone who has seen or owns one of the Moon swatches will be familiar with this. This is the Velcro, the one-piece Velcro strap. This is, again, a modern recreation of the actual strap that was used by NASA for putting the watch on over a spacesuit. So I don't necessarily think I'll be wearing this strap that much, but it's a nice little bit of historical accuracy that this is the strap that the watch would have been on when Ed White did that spacewalk. And I'm pretty sure that this is just a, yeah, this is just a black NATO strap. Omega's NATO straps, by the way, I have a couple of them. The NATO that came with the No Time to Die Bond Seamaster, they are really good quality. They charge an arm and a leg for them if you buy them through their store, but they are very, very good quality. So great that you get those extra straps as well, but as I said, I have a lot of 20mm straps that I think will fit quite comfortably on this watch, despite its 19mm lug width. So yes, the reason why this watch is so hard to come by, this incredible movement, which you can probably see is finished in gold, is actually made by a single Omega technician. It's actually constructed by hand, overseen by someone in their factory in Switzerland. The fact that you have this constructed by a single watchmaker, this movement tells you that this is something special. And yeah, you know me, I'm drawn mostly to aesthetics when it comes to watches. I love watches that are vintage inspired, so the fact that this looks a lot like the vintage Speedmaster rather than a modern Speedmaster really appeals to me. I think it balances, you know, there's a little bit of faux patina on the markers, but just looks like it's aged slightly. It's not overdone. I do think that the second generation of the first Omega in space, this is the first generation, by the way, that was deleted from the Omega catalog about 5 years ago. The new generation, I'm not a big fan of the faux patina. I much prefer the look of this watch. And again, I'll just put it on the wrist one last time. Yeah. Yeah, that's the business. Very, very happy with this. This will definitely be the Speedmaster that stays in my collection. Well, I figured I'd end this video by bringing the watch outside to showcase it in natural light and to demonstrate how the sun plays on the case and the bracelet. Just before I demonstrate the all-important chronograph function, please do give the video a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon to get notifications about future videos. And of course, in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on the Omega Speedmaster 321 Calibre. So it does not have a Hesalite crystal like the original. It is domed sapphire, has anti-reflective coating on the underside, so really good visibility even in natural light. As you probably worked out by now, we have the running seconds subdial at 9 o'clock, and then you have the chronograph subdials counting minutes at 3 o'clock and hours at 6 o'clock. And of course, if I start the chronograph, ba-dum, it starts measuring seconds. See the chronograph hand going there. It's basically a stopwatch. And we stop it like so, and we reset it with the bottom pusher, and the movement is super smooth, that amazing mechanism which we demonstrated earlier on. Okay, this is going to be getting a lot of wrist time. There's a very good chance this will be on my wrist the next time I make a video. I will see you then.